today. This is Maureen Williams. I'm Maureen Williams. I'm the Director of Care Navigation here at Four Seasons, the care you trust. And you have joined Ask a Care Navigator, Mondays with Maureen. We try to create this space on most Mondays to talk about issues associated with living well and aging well, and perhaps how Four Seasons may be of service. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can drop them into the comments boxes either now live or later, or you can call us at 866 466 9734, or go to our website where there's lots of great information, which is fourseasonscare.org. Please spell out the number 4, Four. Today, I'm delighted, thrilled, excited to have a good colleague, good community pal, Paula Kelly, join us. And she's going to talk a bit about guardianship and her company, but we really do collaborate together. And I thought it would be really important because I have a lot of unusual questions about guardianship that come my way, and Paula can help educate us and perhaps dispel some myths. So that's the reality part. So, Paula, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Please tell the group who you are and what you do.
Well, Paula Kelly. I am the founder of NC Guardian and Care Management. I'm a nurse practitioner, but I don't do any provide any health care anymore. I just do healthcare advocacy. Our company can serve as a healthcare power of attorney for clients who don't have anyone else to provide that service for them, and we can be a guardian of person if necessary.
Right. And the first part is for sure why I've referred to Paula because, and I've even shared Paula with my audience here that sometimes people want a healthcare relationship to be more of a business relationship
Yeah.
than family members, and this is what Paula and her team can do for you.
Mhm.
So thank you so much. So tell us about how your company and my services rather how we might interface or how we're different and same because we do interface together and it's a
We
good
do.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit ago about some of our clients that we have in
Hmm.
common. We have a very specific model here for how we care for people. We mostly provide care for vulnerable adults. I mean, that's
Right.
our mission. So most of our clients are solo agers, people that
Mm,
don't have close family in the area who can make and communicate healthcare decisions for them in an
right.
emergency. Some of our clients, not everyone is elderly, some of them have mental health issues,
Hmm.
substance abuse issues, you know, any number of reasons they're vulnerable to being exploited, abused,
Yeah.
or to court intervention.
Right. And so you see how that's just such a special way to help people in the community. And if you're watching locally, Paul is here, but there are other groups and organizations like you. You're very kind of a unicorn in this area, but there are actually people who are willing to help you if you need that objective third party to be your advocate and you don't have anybody.
Right.
Yeah. So, yay, this is great. Well, Paula knows and I'm particularly curious about guardianship. So,
Yeah.
tell us about the guardianship
Yeah.
here situation in North Carolina. It's different by each
It's
state.
different in state. Can I tell you how I got started?
Oh,
Why I
please
got
do.
started?
Please do.
So I moved to North Carolina about 3 years ago. I took a job for a corporate guardian. I was There was a job posted on Indeed for a nurse advocate, and I thought, oh, my heart is
That's
in
you.
advocacy. My
Mhm.
whole, that's what I think a nurse's, real the core of what we do is. I took that job and I didn't know anything. I had clients, patients over the years who had guardians, but I didn't know a whole lot about the system. And what I learned, just really was kind of frightening.
Oh,
In North Carolina, in order to be a guardian, you have to be 18 years old and not have committed a felony.
wow.
And the process is that you go to court, and a clerk of courts, who's an elected official,
Right.
decides whether or not someone has the capacity to make decisions or
Wow.
not for themselves. And then if they decide they do not, they appoint a
A
guardian
guardian who might be
who
18 years old.
who is 18 and hasn't committed a felony to
Mhm.
be the decision maker for that person. It is the most intrusive relationship one person could have for another. And the fact that in North Carolina there are no qualifications that are required, no certification, no continuing education, no healthcare experience,
Wow.
to be making those decisions for another person, it's appalling to
Wow.
me. So not, I mean, I worked within that system for a little bit
Yes.
and tried from within to make some changes, and I didn't, and I wasn't able. And so I just decided I was going to recreate the system. And so
Okay.
we built this specific model so that we can, so that people can identify their own supporters,
Okay.
vulnerable people who might be at risk for guardianship, can identify their own supporters, and we develop a very specific care plan for how we'll support them
Okay.
to hopefully make guardianship not necessary.
So I think it's fascinating that Paula is a guardian, but she doesn't necessarily want to have to be your guardian.
I think if we do our job well, we don't, we shouldn't have to be guardian.
Right.
There is when a person signs a healthcare power of attorney document, there's specific language in that document that says if this relationship isn't enough, then I choose this person to be my guardian.
That's exactly.
And so sometimes I have, someone will call me and say, my neighbor is elderly, is vulnerable. They've asked me to be their healthcare power of attorney. Do you have any advice? What do you think?
Mhm.
I say to them, it's a big responsibility. It is not just signing your name to that form. It
Mhm.
is you committing to a lifetime of supporting that person,
Yeah.
because you're saying that if you're willing to be their healthcare power of attorney, you're willing to take on guardianship for them. It's
Wow.
not enough.
So let's say it's not enough, and we do run into these scenarios where
Right.
it's not enough. What happens? What is guardianship? How do you get to that point of guardianship?
Yeah. Well, so guardianship starts with a petition. I mean, it's a court. This is a legal relationship, so it starts with somebody feeling that a guardian is necessary and petitioning the court for guardianship. So
Mhm.
there's a hearing. The court appoints a guardian ad litem, which is an attorney specifically to protect the interests of the vulnerable adult.
Okay.
Everyone provides their whatever they want to the court as evidence, and the clerk makes a decision.
And that's it.
That's it. The oversight that they provide for a guardian, that the court provides, uh, at 6 months, I provide a report to the court, and then annually, I
Direct.
provide a court report that says this is what I'm doing to support that person.
Okay.
So, I mentioned that in North Carolina, you have to be 18, not a committed felony. There are a lot of places in the country where they're doing a much better job of
Mhm.
guardianship,
Mhm.
where there is a national certification
Yes.
that's available. There are standards that protect people's agency and their right to self-determination, so that that every decision we made is client or patient centered.
Right.
And so in a lot of parts of the country, they're doing that.
Yeah.
And in North Carolina, there are only 7 of us who have that national
Ah.
certification, who are bound by those national standards.
Right.
And there's no one else in
North
Asheville.
Carolina. Wow.
There are
Yeah.
7 in the whole state.
State. Wow.
So it's a frustrating thing.
Yeah.
It's something I've told you. I'll talk about guardianship to anyone who will
Yeah.
listen, because I feel very strongly that we all need to be talking about it and get our laws changed and get better protections for people that are vulnerable.
Sure.
I have seen firsthand how people are that system's not working. People are
Mm.
being exploited in that
Yeah.
system, and we need to do better
I've
for our
seen it
elderly
too.
people. Yeah.
Well, yes. So once you do enter into that relationship as a guardian, what is expected of you as a guardian? Um, what do you do? What decisions are you making
Yeah.
for this person? I know we have the person and the property and the
Yeah.
this and the that.
So there are a couple. There's a guardian of person, and there's a guardian of estate, and there's a general guardian. As there are no restrictions. You can be anything. The court doesn't say you have to have training, or I jokingly say I barely balance my own checking account, so nobody wants me making financial decisions. But we are healthcare. I am a nurse,
Yes.
and I don't want to make anybody's financial decisions. So I am willing to be a guardian of person, and that's what's required with when I say I'll be a healthcare power of attorney and
Okay.
a guardian of person. A general guardian makes
The financial
the
decisions.
financial. Well, a
Okay.
general guardian can do both. A general
Okay.
does a person and
Oh, the
estate,
estate. Okay.
and then for some cases there's a guardian of person and a guardian of estate appointed, and those two people work together, finances and
Okay.
and healthcare decisions.
Very good.
So for clients that I serve as a guardian,
You do the person
I also have a guardian of the state that works
and a
with me.
separate one. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
One of my criticisms of guardianship is that one person makes all of the decisions
Right.
with very little oversight from the court, making
Okay.
sure we're doing a good job. So sees the person as often as they think is necessary, does whatever they think is necessary, pays themselves for the time they spend with the person.
Yes.
Oftentimes these vulnerable adults are lonely and
Mm.
they want to spend lots of time with you. You know, they might call you often. I had, when I was working for a guardian, you know, I had clients that would call me and just, they were lonely. They wanted me to take them to lunch or
Mhm.
spend time with them. They don't clearly understand that relationship. They don't understand that taking them to lunch might cost them $300.
Yeah.
You know, it's important that the relationship is clear and that there's oversight.
Yeah.
So even when I work with a patient now, when they want me to serve as their healthcare power of attorney, part of our assessment is finding out who else is involved. Who do you
Mhm.
trust? Who would you like to be your financial supporter or your legal supporter?
Mhm.
Because if there's a time when I'm making and communicating your healthcare decisions, if you're in that position where you don't have capacity, then you want someone to have oversight of me. You want somebody to be reviewing my invoice to make sure the time I spend with you is appropriate.
Absolutely.
That's how we protect people.
Wow. That's a wonderful ethical standard for you to have in-house. Well, a myth that I run into a lot, actually here in Western North Carolina, is I have to just plan on being mama's or daddy's guardian. And that's, help me unpack
Yeah.
that. That's not true.
No, it's not true. If you plan ahead, you likely will not ever be in a position where somebody needs a guardian.
Let's talk about that.
If
Yeah.
someone chooses their supporters at a time when there's no question about safety and well-being
Mhm.
and their own capacity, and you fill out those documents, the healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney, or a
Mhm.
durable power of attorney, then you have somebody, you've chosen the people in your life that you want to make healthcare and financial decisions. And so there should never be a reason for guardianship.
That's the big point right here.
Yeah, plan
That's the
ahead.
big point.
Plan ahead. And then the other step beyond that is, you know, you choose your supporters and then tell your supporters what it is you want. You know, make sure that your preferences, needs, and goals about your life, how you want to age, where you want to do it, who you want
Mhm.
caring for you, and how you intend to pay for it
Yeah.
is well communicated to those people that you've chosen as your
That's all part of
supporters.
that planning we talk about so much.
Yes.
So once you do become a guardian, though, let's say you do wind up becoming your parent's guardian or Paula becomes a guardian, you're contacted for all healthcare decisions.
You know,
Period, right?
the clerk is able to limit the guardianship to whatever the person needs.
Okay.
And in some parts of the country, they do that better than here. Typically here, what I've seen is just a general guardianship
Take
with
it
no
and run.
limitations.
Okay.
There are some guardian ad litems, those people that are appointed to the vulnerable person
Mhm.
who do a better job
And
at
others.
making sure that that this person, if they are going to have a guardian, that it's a limited guardianship with just specific
Mm.
needs, because that they can preserve some of the rights of that
Yeah.
vulnerable person. And I think all guardianships should be limited to exactly what that person needs help
Need.
with. It just doesn't happen very often here.
I've also heard it said that guardianship is a decision of last resort.
Oh, and it should be. You know,
Mhm.
it like I said, most intrusive relationship. You know, for
Mm.
someone to
Yeah.
take away your decision making
All my
rights
rights are gone.
and give them to me if I were your guardian,
Mhm.
I mean, horrendous. That means I
Mhm.
decide where you live,
Yeah.
what you buy, what you spend your money on, what you eat,
In everything.
everything. And
Yeah.
that is
And there are places for that. But that's
yeah,
why I think one of the great takeaways here is planning. Planning
yeah.
now while you can.
And if I have to become a guardian for someone, one, I abide by the national standards. I know how to do this well and
Mhm.
protect people's, you know, their rights to you know, making it sure it's patient centered. But also I've established a relationship with them. You
Yes.
know, I because of this model, because of how we work, if I've worked as your advocate for years, hopefully
Yeah.
before that would happen,
Yes.
I know you. I know what
Yeah.
you want. We've talked about different scenarios. So if guardianship is necessary, I'm able to do that, keeping, you know, what I know about you in mind.
Honoring your wishes. You
Yes.
must. Your professional certification must have really strong ethical standards. I would
Very,
imagine
very strong
that
ethical
matters.
And another reason why I think we should, every guardian should be bound to those ethical standards. Things like that. I know we are also members of the Aging Life Care Association,
Mm-hmm.
and so one of the requirements of that association is that we don't take referral fees. We don't.
Mm-mm.
I know that when I recommend a facility for someone, it is because I think that facility will provide the care that person
Mm-hmm.
needs. It's the
Mm-hmm.
best match, not because I'm getting paid $100 to refer that
Yeah.
facility. Those are the reasons why I think memberships in these types of organizations and those ethical standards are
Mm-hmm.
so important.
So, guardianship. What final words do you want to tell us about guardianship? What's a final takeaway you'd like for people to hear?
Um, I mean, fine. Are we out of time already?
No, no,
No.
no.
You know,
No, I know you could talk about it a
but
long time.
something that happens often, and I think it's important to communicate. People will call me and say, "I need you to be my guardian." I'm
Okay.
requesting that people that don't have children that are kind of thinking about who's going to help me figure this out as I age.
Mm-hmm.
Will say, "Can you be my guardian?" Um, that is when it's important to, if you have the ability to meet with an elder law attorney and talk about the documents that you need to put in place to protect you from having a guardian. And we are happy to serve as your healthcare power of attorney,
Yes.
but you don't choose me as your guardian, and you don't really want me to be your guardian, but it's a healthcare power of attorney or your agent that you're requesting or that you really should
I
need.
love that you brought that up because that might be what people are saying. They're planning they have to be the guardian. What they're asking for is someone to step in and be a decision maker should the need arise.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily a guardian.
And you can't do this when it's too late. I also get lots of
Oh,
calls
yeah.
from like maybe facilities who say someone is living here and they need a higher level of care and we don't have a decision maker. And we need you to come and be their guardian. Or we need you to step in and be their healthcare power of attorney. If someone can't, this is an LLC, this is a company.
Yeah.
And so we have a service agreement. And it's not that I don't want to, I want to help everyone.
Yeah.
But if someone can't understand the relationship that we form with our service agreement, I can't be a decision
No.
maker for them.
It is too late.
There's no option except to go to the courts,
Yeah.
petition for guardianship, have a clerk decide.
Yeah.
It's too late.
So some of the language here I think is really important that you've just used, Paula. You just can't go out and hire a guardian. This is a court appointed relationship. It's a relationship of last resort and for usually very specific
Yeah.
needs,
Yeah.
right?
The laws actually changed in January of 2024
Last year. Mm-hmm.
to say that a guardian cannot be appointed by the courts unless you've attempted some less restrictive ways to support that person. Less restrictive might be, a care navigator,
Yeah. Yeah.
and often it is. It's families who are struggling, who can't, some mom or dad is being exploited. They aren't able to navigate the healthcare system well. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you are enough.
Yeah.
You're a
To
care
avoid the
navigator
guardianship.
is enough to avoid
Mm-hmm.
guardianship. Yes.
Isn't this great? That's just great advice there. Just less restrictive, you said it was called.
Less restrictive.
Yeah.
There are other, like, care navigators. You can joint bank accounts so that
Mm-hmm.
there are lots of systems that we can get in place. When you notice somebody's vulnerable or you think that somebody's maybe being exploited or abused, what kind of systems can you put in place to support them so that they don't need someone, appointing a guardian, just so that we can protect them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guardian is last resort. It is very protective, strongly protective. You can't just go out and buy and hire a guardian. It has to be appointed by a court. And there are people like Paula and her team and me and my team out there to help you plan and navigate healthcare before you even get down this path. So it does exist. There's a reason guardianship exists for very valid reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people like Paula out there who's really very highly skilled at it. And I want to give a shout out to her company. And I put her contact information in the comments box, but North Carolina Guardian and Care Management. Just these are just some of the things. Healthcare advocacy for vulnerable adults. And Paula is very active in helping people choosing those. What did you call it? The shared decision making? Yeah, supportive decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very important. So I put her website and her phone number in the comments. So, well, anything else? One parting word from you.
parting words. No, I mean, this is a team approach.
Yeah.
I don't work by myself. I have nurses, nurse
Mhm.
advocates, and a social worker that works with me, and we do it. We work with
Mhm.
lots of people in the community. This
Yeah.
is not something that you can do on your own.
No, it's not. Well, it's just another reason I keep tell people Western North Carolina is loaded, chock full of resources to help you live well and age well and stay in your home. And if Paula and her team can be of service, you've got the contact information. And if I and my team and Four Seasons can be of service, please call us at 866 466 9734. And it would be a privilege. And sometimes I might be navigating you to another community partner like Paula. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and join me next Monday on St. Patrick's Day, and we'll talk again about something associated with living well and aging well. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.